Punch it.
Hey everybody, so winter rafting has taken off more than we expected. We are absolutely thrilled. People have been loving it. We've been loving getting to share the winter paddling experience with people. So we thought we would do a follow-up video that kind of answers some of the most frequently asked questions we're getting. Now that we've been doing this for a month or two, we kind of know now what questions people have, so we wanted to address some of those. First off, probably the most common question I get asked is, am I going to get wet? Do I have to wear a dry suit? And what kind of shoes should I wear? So we just wanted to go over some of those questions. You should not get wet. The rafts are extremely stable craft. They sit high enough out of the water that you're not going to be getting a ton of splash on you from the river. We run the section of the Pine that isn't the whitewater section, so you're not going to be going through those bigger wave trains. You can get wet from a heavy wet snow. We've had this last week, we had quite a bit of snow falling that can get you wet. Or if you go underneath a low-hanging cedar branch that has some snow on it, and maybe if from somebody's paddle, they're paddling and it splashes off the paddle. But you should not be getting wet. And as far as what shoes to wear, often if I'm not guiding, then I'm just going to wear my regular winter hiking boots, something that'll keep me warm. If I'm guiding, then I'll wear my taller muck boots like Jake has on, in case I do have to get out of the raft for any reason. But if I'm just going for pleasure, like you guys would be, I would just wear my normal winter boots. As far as clothing to wear, layers is best. It's always better to overdress and be able to shed layers on the raft if you get too warm than to underdress. And obviously hat, gloves, hand warmers come in handy. We usually take them whenever we go out.
Yep. Little packet of Kleenexes is a good idea to bring.
Yeah, people don't bring those often enough.
Yeah. Maybe some cleats for your shoes if you plan on hiking back. The Silver Creek pathway, most of the time is just fine, and we hike it pretty much every day. So
and we never wear cleats.
Yeah, and you can always just ask us, hey, what's the trail like right now, and we'll have a pretty good idea. But yeah, you can certainly bring them if it's a little slippery. We'll certainly let you know, and you might want to bring some cleats for the walk back.
But it's not
don't
required.
Wear them in the raft.
So if you don't, don't wear them in the raft. But if you don't have cleats, don't worry about it. There are a couple spots if it's really slippery that you're gonna have to watch. But like I said, we never wear cleats.
Yeah.
Hoxie never wear cleats. He always does just fine. And then I guess another question we get asked a lot is there an age requirement for rafting? There is no age requirement for rafting. It's great for kids of all ages from 2 to 92. We have life jackets are required for everybody. We do have multiple sizes of life jackets. So we have kid life jackets and all sizes of adult life jackets. So don't have to worry about that.
To you seniors out there, 82 is the record so far. So we're
you
hoping
can
to
beat
break
that.
Yeah. And she had a blast. She absolutely loved it. So another question we get asked is, the raft itself. There's different size rafts. We pretty much run these exclusively. We do have some other sizes that we run in the summer, but we don't in the winter time. And people are just curious how they fit in it, or how they even sit in it. Some people think you sit.
And how many people fit in it?
Yeah. Some people think you sit in the bottom like Hoxie is, and that works fine for him. But for us humans, we sit up on the sides. So yeah, this is how you'll find yourself sitting in the raft. Up here on the side, that gets you close enough you can actually use your paddle if you have to. As far as how many people fit in a raft, I went out yesterday with four adults. There was 2 up front where Laney's at. One person was here, and then there was someone where I'm at, someone across from me, and then I was sitting in the back guiding.
So it's 5 adults total.
5 adults total, yeah. I've gone down with 3 kids, 2 moms, and myself. 6 teenagers would probably be no problem at all. It just really depends. The problem you run into most is length. So if you got some taller guys, that's when you start to run out of room quick. But like I say, if they're average size people, you can do 4 to 5.
They're Hoxie size, you can just pack them in.
You can
really.
just pack them in, yeah. So, yeah, that's what to expect for the size of the raft and how you sit in it.
And if you just have 2 of you, no problem. You can absolutely 2 of you go with the guide, no problem. I've done several of those where I just guide a couple and it works out super well. So
yeah.
So there's not really a right or wrong, so don't worry. If you don't have enough people or if you have too many, we'll figure it out. If you do have a larger group, say you have, I did a group the other day where there was 5 plus me and we couldn't all fit in one raft. So I split their group up into 3 of them went in one raft and then I went in a second raft with 2 of the paddlers. So you don't get a guide in each raft. Rather the guide just goes along for the group. But it worked out really well. So I was able to give the other raft a heads up about a couple of rocks and things they could get hung up on. And it worked out just fine. And we do get asked if Hoxie comes along, and you can request him. We don't always, he always wants to go. We don't always know if the customers want him along, but if you really want him, you can request him and we'll see what he's got on his schedule.
Yep. So another question is, where does this take place at? It takes place at Walker Bridge, so not our main facility on M37 that a lot of you are familiar with.
Don't go there.
Don't go there.
It's closed.
We will not be there. So yeah, we give you our address to meet us at the start, 8677 North State Road, Luther, Michigan, 49656. And so far, 9 out of 10 people have found it just fine. There's been a couple of people that have been led down some seasonal roads, and a common factor in that was that they were using Apple Maps. So use Google Maps, and would definitely recommend looking at the map before you take off from home. We are right next to the Silver Creek State Campground, so find that on your map and make sure that that's where it's leading you. And if you have any questions, just give us a call. It's not going to take you down any weird 2 tracks.
This is just real time.
So yeah, if it's asking you to go down a 2-track, that's not right. We're on a paved road, and any road leading to us should be a plowed all seasons road. So
yeah, no snowmobile trails. We also get asked how many days we're open, and we are open 7 days a week. So Jake and I are we are the only guides on staff. You can't really count Hoxie. So we are, as long as we're available, we would be happy to run you. So if people ask if reservations are required, since the trips are guided, and they all are guided, reservations are required, but you can call the day of and see if we're around. If we're around, we'd be more than happy to take you. So we have had people do that. You can reserve a month in advance if you want. It doesn't matter. Trips start at 10:30 or 1 p.m. And we can run normally, we can each guide a trip at 10:30, we can each guide a trip at 1, and if we get more reservations than that, we will call in extra staff, such as my brother, to help come guide.
So the Silver Creek Pathway, there's 2 options to hike back, either side of the river. One side of the river is 2.4 miles, and it's a little easier of a hike. There's less elevation. I think that it's a more scenic hike. You get a little closer to the river, you go over some really cool creeks. The other side of the hike, or other side of the river, is 1.7 miles, and it's got a little more elevation, so a little more difficult. And the views you do get of the river, though, are from a higher vantage point, so that's kind of one advantage of doing the shorter hike. And they're time-wise, they're very similar. Probably 15-minute difference to go the longer route.
It takes most people about an hour.
Yeah, about an hour.
If you want to know what to guesstimate for how long you'd be out there, about an hour. And when you get done at Lincoln, you can give your guide any extra layers of clothing, any thermoses. You can even switch out boots. If you have like warm winter boots for the raft and you take along some hiking boots, we'll be happy to take back those warm boots for you, and any extra clothing or anything that you don't want to hike with. The guide will just bring it back to the house here, so you don't have to worry about carrying anything extra. So don't worry about you know, you want to stay warm on the raft, or you're not moving as much, and when you get hiking, you know, you're going to heat up some, so don't worry about taking some extra stuff. We'll happily take that back for you.